Race 1 of the 2023 Motul Indonesian round getting underway. A little bit of lift off the line from Alvaro Bautista, but he's going to pull immediately alongside Andrea Locatelli and watch for a rocket ship getaway from Axel Bassani as well. Toprak Razgatlioglu defends the line. That allows Bassani to slip between the two, and down goes Michael Ruben Rinaldi. From fourth position in the early stages, Rinaldi with a heavy spill into turn 1. Devastation for him. He had a disastrous race 1 in Phillip Island last time out, and race 1's going to end in disaster here in Mandalika as well. Promoted up into fourth position now is Danilo Petrucci, so that's a great start for him from 7th position on the grid. Jonathan Rea hasn't had the best of getaways. He's still down in 8th position, in fact make that 9th because Scott Redding has got through on him as well. So it's Razgatlioglu who leads, it's Bautista in 2nd, Bassani as aggressive as ever in the early stages, Danilo Petrucci in 4th position, and 3 Ducatis up there in the top 4 places. Andrea Locatelli mugged in the early running.
Yeah, 3 up in the 4, and then you had Rinaldi in the midst of that as well. So off the line we saw once again just how good the Ducati is in that acceleration zone into turn 1. Bassani coming from 6th on the grid, almost into P2 at one stage.
This is what happened in the early stages. Watch the number 21 of Michael Ruben Rinaldi.
Yeah, Rinaldi just comes in, tags the back of Bassani there, and unfortunately for Ducati, 4 Ducatis into the one corner don't really go too well, and Rinaldi just gets caught out. The most important corner on the track right now for Toprak is the last corner. Try and get your exit at that perfect to try and stretch out as much of a lead over Bautista as you can. But as it is right now, Alvaro doing a good job just to keep that pressure on. Bassani's come into that as well. We know that Alvaro's out there on the X tyre, so he's got that softer rubber in this early stage.
And Jonathan Rea now through on Xavi Vieque for 7th position. He'd already dispatched Scott Redding. A bit of a moment there in the background of the shots there for one of the BMWs as Jonathan Rea sits in 7th position, then Vieque behind him in 8th, then it's Scott Redding in 9th position. Far from disastrous for Alex Lowe's to slip behind his teammate Jonathan Rea either, because it means that he can now use him as a yardstick and a benchmark and try and go with him, because Rea is going to attack Petrucci for 5th position. Make no mistake about that, he's going to try and do it under braking here in towards turn number 10. He's got to get it stopped on the racing line. It's very dirty off that racing line, and Rea has done well to get it stopped in time. So Jonathan Rea making good progress, and now he's up into P5. Alvaro Bautista hitting the front on Toprak Razgatlioglu. Bautista is through and down the start-finish straight. That should be his opportunity now to try and escape away.
You can see the move here through the never-ending right-handers at the end of the lap, and just puts his bike down there, and Toprak's got no choice but to just see that position.
Toprak would not have been expecting the move there,
Bassani.
And Bautista has caught him by surprise, and here comes Axel Bassani to make the pass on Toprak Razgatlioglu, this one in towards turn 10. So the 2 race leading Ducatis, Bautista and Bassani, both getting through in consecutive laps to relegate Razgatlioglu down to 3rd. Toprak diving down the inside of Axel Bassani in towards turn number 10. So where Bassani himself made a pass a lap ago, Razgatlioglu is able to respond. But the more these fight it out over 2nd, 3rd, 4th positions, the more they will slip and become a group behind Bautista, who is now 0.8 of a second up at the head of the field.
Yeah, the one thing is on this lap so far, Toprak's pulled back 0.3 of a second, so that's what he needs to do, and he needs to try and make sure that his teammate Locatelli can come through on Bassani as well and give himself a chance of someone just to put himself between one of the Ducatis. And
Jonathan Rea not looking particularly convincing on this lap 7 either. He's got Alex Lowe's for company right behind him. Could be a question of who's conserved their tyres front and rear in the closing stages as to who is able to make late progress. We saw the battle last time out in Phillip Island was for 4th position down. Well, at the moment it looks like it's right at the front of the field, but we'll wait and see who's got the tyre life in the second half of this race as well.
just looking at the all BMW battle, Michael van der Mark came through and Scott Redding a few laps ago into turn 10. Now he's been able to pull out a few tenths of a second. They've dropped Garrett Gerloff, he's all the way down in P15. So 3 BMW riders pretty close to one another on the racetrack. As the race progresses, it's going to be a case of who's managing that tyre better than any of the others. You can see Scott Redding with a big mistake there through the last corner and runs that little bit wide, but it's such a narrow line that it punishes that mistake.
Razgatlioglu hasn't given up just yet as we watch the fights for 3rd and 5th positions, and Alex Lowes is now alongside Jonathan Rea in towards turn 10. He's had a couple of goes down the inside but not quite been close enough, but on lap 10 Lowes is through, and alarmingly for Jonathan Rea, the first thing he does is looks over his shoulder. He knows he's under pressure from behind. Petrucci and Rea right with him as well. Razgatlioglu with a new personal best, but it's only a 1:33, so the gap is back up at over a second between the top two. Bassani 1.2 seconds back now. He is struggling, and Locatelli is all over the back of him as we see Jonathan Rea fending off Danilo Petrucci now for 6th position. And Lowes with a bit of daylight ahead and behind. He's already opened 0.6 of a second of a gap to Jonathan Rea, his teammate.
Yeah, Rea got sucked into T1, T2, and that's what brought him closer to Petrucci and lost that bit of ground to Lowes.
Andrea Locatelli into turn 10 is going to be his best opportunity to make the pass on Axel Bassani. He's been faster than him the last few laps, and finally he gets it done in towards turn number 10. Andrea Locatelli then released into the podium positions, and it's been coming, hasn't it? Bassani dropping gradually backwards from the top two. This is really strong riding as far as Alex Lowes is concerned. We saw the best of him defending 4th position ahead of the group in the Superpole race last time out in Phillip Island. We'll see if he can fight his way into 4th position this time around against Axel Bassani. Went off like a rocket in the early laps as ever, but is now under siege from the riders behind him. And we'd already seen Axel Bassani picked off by Andrea Locatelli. We might well see him passed shortly by Alex Lowes as well. Tom Sykes coming into the pits. He retires from the back of the field. The action is up ahead of him as Alex Lowes darts to the inside and will try and catch Axel Bassani by surprise. That's a fine move from Alex Lowes, that one.
That's a confident move there from Lowes at this stage of the race, with half the race gone, 2/3 of the race gone, and still to have that confidence in the tyres right now. You can see how much his teammate Rea is struggling, so Lowes riding very well at this stage, able to make that move. Bassani's not going to give into it, so Lowes is going to have to defend into T1 against Axel.
And watch out for Danilo Petrucci behind on Jonathan Rea as well, still trying to find his way through as Bassani gets back at Lowes for 4th position. These two are scrapping it out. We see Scott Redding pull into the pits. Redding was running up in 14th position, but he's straight off the bike and out of race 1. So frustration as far as Scott Redding is concerned. Jonathan Rea defending 6th position for 3 or 4 laps against Danilo Petrucci. Petrucci will finally take the high ground in towards turn 10 and get it stopped on the racing line. Danilo Petrucci making the pass for P6. Has he got any further answer to the 5 men up ahead of him? The gap is less than a second to Alex Lowes in P5 as Jonathan Rea thinks about his move back on Petrucci, but all the while Rea is going to be very concerned about the fact that Xavi Vierque is now right with him behind in 8th position.
Michael van der Mark once again with a new fastest lap for him, a new personal best for van der Mark, and it's only the race leader that's faster than him.
And Jonathan Rea wide once again coming off turn 1 and is immediately punished by Xavi Vierque. Vierque released up into 7th position, and the problem here for Jonathan Rea is that Michael van der Mark is closing on these two at least 0.4 of a second per lap, and van der Mark is now right with them. Michael van der Mark launches his attack down the inside of Jonathan Rea in towards turn 10. It was a move that was always going to happen. Rea's going to try and answer back, but this looks like a matter of time. The two clash, and a little bit of damage might have been done to Michael van der Mark there. Jonathan Rea apologising for that. I don't think that was his intention, the two colliding. Here comes Xavi Vierque on the inside of Alex Lowes in towards turn 10 on lap 18. Michael van der Mark passing Jonathan Rea as well for 8th position. And van der Mark was not going to let that slip after the two of them came to blows a lap ago. Van der Mark has got the position now, and Jonathan Rea is only a 1/10 of a second ahead of Dominic Egerter, who remember passed him on the final lap of race 2 last time out in Phillip Island.
He's not going to have to wait until the final lap in this one. He's coming through very soon, and that's why it was important for van der Mark to come through and shut the door on Jonathan Rea, and then make sure you were able to open up as much of a gap as he can. The last few laps, Aguilar's been very fast in the low 33s, pretty much as fast as anyone bar Alvaro Bautista.
Can you remember Jonathan Rea the last time he finished down as far as 9th or 10th position on pure pace? Rea almost gets off the bike there. Here goes Egerter on Jonathan Rea. Well, he left it till the last lap to pass him in Phillip Island. He's going to pass him on lap 19 here, but he gets out onto the curb and Jonathan Rea is able to swiftly respond.
Look at Van der Mark though, once again. He's just jumped onto the back of that group in front.
Position 6 and 7 is where the action is on this penultimate lap, with Xavi Vierque defending against Alex Lowes and Michael van der Mark trying to pass the pair of them. Jonathan Rea still ahead of Dominic Egerter. Here's the move from Michael van der Mark then. That was a matter of time on Alex Lowes, and that's for 7th position, and next in line for Michael van der Mark. He has every chance of getting through on Xavi Vierque for 6th position as well. That really would be an excellent effort from Michael van der Mark.
Yeah, and Lowes needs to stick with van der Mark and see if he's able to follow him through on Xavi as well.
Yes, Lowes has been stuck behind Vierque for some laps now since losing the position to the number 97 Honda. It is Vierque who holds that position, but he's offline somewhat there, and Michael van der Mark looking menacing on his tail, using every inch of the circuit. Alex Lowes trying to stick with him. Lowes is now only 1 position ahead of Jonathan Rea, who's only 4/10 of a second back. Here goes van der Mark, so much more confidence to run that tighter line through 15 and 16, and van der Mark moves clear now into 6th place, Vierque into 7th, and Jonathan Rea menacing on the tail of Alex Lowes on this final lap. Teammate on teammate battle for KRT pride. What little pride there is for KRT in what has been a miserable race for them. Rea already moving to the inside of Alex Lowes in towards turn number 1, wasting no time on the final lap to duff up his teammate, and the pair of them now will be passed by Dominic Egerter, and that shows you what Jonathan Rea's target was in this race. Make sure he beats his teammate. He's not going to gain a position through that move because Dominic Egerter's got through on him for 8th position, and once again Egerter making progress on the final lap at Rea's expense.
Yeah, and Lowes needs to get as close as he can to try and attack into T10, but you can see for Rea, we saw it with van der Mark, we've seen it there with that move there as well. All he's thinking about is the rider in front of him, and he's just trying to hold on to anything he can. Lowes needs to get himself close enough here to try and attack into 10.
I don't think that move's going to go down too well back in the KRT pit boxes after this race, because Jonathan Rea was excessively ambitious there in towards turn number 1, and he must have known that he was going to impede his teammate Alex Lowes, and it's cost both of them a position. Well, Alex Lowes loses 2, of course, down from 8th into 10th place. Lowes may well attempt to recover here in the closing stages. The gap is nothing between the two of them. Back to the front of the field because Bautista is making his way through the final 2 turns. It is going to be Alvaro Bautista home to win it once again. Razgatlioglu 5 seconds down the road. The domination continues in 2023. Unbeaten this season so far. Alvaro Bautista takes his and first Ducati victory here in Mandalika. Toprak Razgatlioglu is beaten for the first time here since 2021. Andrea Locatelli is home for 3rd, another podium for him, and the race to the line between the 2 KRT men for 9th position. Jonathan Rea just about holds on ahead of Alex Lowes.